Hey guys, Tony here, and finally the time has come for me to reveal what's going on in the showroom. And I have an exciting room tour for you today. This is going to be the 7.4.4 Cinema 1, which has a Krix MX10 and a whole bunch of other features. So guys, make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're not already, but let's get into it. So guys, I'm in the foyer of the showroom. This is where we bring people when they first come in. We have some nice seating here, which is the Baron from Sovereign Cinema. And then I've got my nice little table over here, which you'll see is where we like to get people in, sit them down, go through their plans and discuss all of the things that they'd like to do for their room. Then over here, we've got my wife's favorite seat. This one is also from Sovereign Cinema. It is a two-seater love seat, so you can snuggle up. We also have over here our Artnovion acoustic wall, and this is what's in Cinema 1, which is what I'm going to show you. And just the various ways that you can put absorption, diffusion, and speaker blanks to hide speakers, and then put covers over them. You might have seen these in my own personal cinema, which I do have these exact covers in my room at home. Then we have, of course, the Krix speakers here, my favorite speakers, the new Phonics Towers and Epicentric center speaker on a 120-inch ALR screen. And over here, you can see we have the Valerian Max over there, and then we have the Valerian Pro 2 here. This is more of our entry level for people that don't have the higher budgets because it does creep up. Our two other brands of choice are both Epson and JVC. This is the JVC Experience Center, and we have one of every model in the showroom. So I'm really excited to share what we've done in Cinema 1. So let's go. So this is the entry to Cinema 1. You can see we've got the sign up there. We have a nice door here. This does have a Raven seal underneath to help soundproof the space a little bit more. We do have quad lined MDF here, and this does really knock out a lot of the low frequencies so that it doesn't knock things around when we're pumping the bass through here. So this door is a solid core door, and essentially behind me you can see the cinema. So here we do have a Control 4 touchpad. I haven't updated the buttons yet. They were getting engraved. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And my partner, Puneet from AutoNest, he is in charge of all the control and automation for my business. So he's my integration partner for all Control 4 and any other ecosystem that you want, Home Assistant, Crestron Home, anything you like, we can do it through Puneet at AutoNest. I will be traveling down to Melbourne soon to check out his showroom and film a video. He's built something very special down in Melbourne. Essentially, you press this button here and it turns on the cinema. So up over my head, you can see there are two JVC projectors. We have the NZ500 and NZ700. These are the entry-level JVC projectors for dedicated cinema, and we feel that they are perfect for this size room. Starting off with the seating, I've got my Valencia Oslo Ultimates here. These were made specially for me with my logo a couple of years ago by Valencia Theater Seating. And yes, I am a dealer for them in Australia, and I absolutely love them. It was time to put them into this room. Italian Napa leather, they've got all the features, LED lights, pretty much everything that you could want. And the main thing is they're super comfortable. So you can sit back, you're fully supported with headrest, lumbar, and leg recline. And it's just a really comfortable chair to sit in to watch a movie. So guys, why don't we talk about the dimensions of this room, because it was critical in the design and budget to get the room to a place where most of the people that come through here would be needing. And that is 5 meters long, 3.5 wide, and 3 meters tall. I'll have the conversion into imperial in the cards above. So there are things that you can do to maximize this space for your budget to get the most out of it. So what I've done is I had to pull back a little bit, because me being me, I like to go absolutely crazy when it comes to gear, electronics, and what's possible. But I had to pull myself back a little bit, and I can go through all of the speaker choices, electronics, projection, acoustic treatment, and the other things that went into building this room. The 5 meter distance was because I had to put the MX10 in this room. It was the speaker that started me off. It was the one element that was so important to me when I first built my cinema, and it is perfect for this sized room. So we had to pull 230 mil off the front wall so that we could build the plinth and everything. You'll see some footage of me installing it here. it looks like a completed wall with just a screen hanging on it. That's the beauty of the Krix speakers, is that you can hide them away and then you get that awesome cinematic sound coming through the screen. For the side surrounds, we went with the in-wall 50s. And these in-wall 50s are also a speaker that started it for me in my cinema at home, with very similar dimensions to this room. They have a full back box, so they are enclosed and they are designed to fit inside the standard Australian cavity of 90 mils. I think they have a 79 mil mounting depth. We pre-wired for 9.4.6. However, we ended up with 7.4.4 in this room. I didn't want to put the front wides in because I wanted to pull back and just put in this room what I think the average person would be able to get a really awesome experience without going too crazy. Because when you go from an 11 channel system to a 13 channel system, just those 2 channels really bump up the price in terms of processing and amplification alone, plus the cost of the additional speakers. Because we built this structure from scratch, DTS Constructions were my partner here in building these rooms, and they are my builder of choice in any new builds that we do. They were able to design the studs and put everything in the position that I needed so that there were no compromises in terms of angles and positions. The side surrounds and the rear surrounds are in the perfect spot with the in-wall 50s. And then overhead, we also have 4 of the IC52s, which has been my speaker of choice for pretty much nearly every job I do, unless they have a much bigger room and we need to go with something else. The IC52s are perfect because you can angle them really down towards that middle chair. And we don't have a middle chair here, but the way it's calibrated, you get a great experience across both seats. Cinematic is the only way that I can describe the MX-10. There's loads of people that have gone and bought them, and the feedback that I get from them is the same. It's just an insane, incredibly performing sound wall at the front. Then at the back, because I was like, you know what? I like my bass. Anyone that knows me knows I like my bass. And I do overcook it a little bit at times, but for me, it's super important to have great bass. And so I did put 2 additional Cyclonics 15s behind. So these are a 15-inch ported sub passive, so I had to buy an amplifier for them as well. And it was kind of a bit of a situation where I had already purchased the 2-channel amplifier for the front, and then I was kind of without an amplifier for the back. So I ended up buying 2 2-channel amplifiers, one to power the MX-10 subs, which are 2 12-inch, and then one to power the 2 back. And I'll go over them in a moment. When it comes to the electronics for this room, we went with the Denon 6800. Again, because this is a showroom, I had to use gear and electronics that I can actually sell and show people, because kind of pointless to put other brands and other things in there. So this room, I decided to put a Denon just because I wanted to show how capable the Denon is, the 6800. It is running DIRAC and you can actually use ART. We're not using ART yet because we've got a mini DSP controlling all the subs. However, I will do a video on ART at some point once I get it onto the receiver. But we are running DIRAC, and DIRAC on this is just amazing. What it was able to do to this room, create a really nice sparkle, especially in the HF. And because the Krix speakers are quite sensitive, loads of performance coming out of those speakers. I've shocked quite a few people when I tell them it's just running off a Denon AVR. They can't believe how good it sounds. That is testament to the speaker design and also the quality of the Denon. So you absolutely can run a room like this with Krix speakers off an AVR. For media watching, I didn't put the Apple TV in this one. I put the NVIDIA Shield TV Pro. That allows me to show free-to-air TV, Netflix, Disney+, KO Sports. You can put all the standard streaming on here. We also have AC Infinity fans, which I also am a dealer for AC Infinity as well. So I like to put lots of rack cooling in just to make sure that it stays nice and cool, especially because there's no air conditioning in the main part of the showroom. Just want to keep the gear bit of airflow going so it doesn't overheat. So for the amplifiers, as I mentioned earlier, for the subwoofers, I went with LEA, and Krix have recommended and supply the LEA amplifiers for their subwoofers because there's a nice range of them. I believe they can do a lot more than their rated performance. I'm running the LEA 352, which is only supposed to be 350 watts, but the amount of power and output that I'm getting out of that is crazy. For the back, I'm running the LEA 702. So that's dual 700 watts. Again, a lot more power and capabilities out of that amplifier and the subwoofers. But it just gives an amazing tactile response. When I put things like 13 hours on, it's just crazy. When that motor goes off, you feel like the whole room's gonna fall apart, which is kind of what you want. Obviously, you don't want the room to fall apart, but it sounds like it's going to, which is pretty cool. All the rattles and things like that are in the actual soundtrack. A lot of people ask, is that the room? I'm like, nope, that's in the soundtrack. So it's pretty cool to see people's reactions. And the way that we've time aligned it with the mini DSP in this room, we have a great amount of tactile response. I do have presets now because some of the feedback I've gotten from people was some said it was too much bass, some said it wasn't enough bass. We set different presets so that we can cycle through different bass so that you can see, hey, look, if you like a lot of bass, this is what they're capable of. And if you like less bass, you just press this button, changes the preset. For the screen, we've gone with a Severtson. And Severtson is, of course, a very premium brand, and I'm really excited to have that as an offering. In this room, it's just amazing. The quality of the image, the weave is really tight. It's not their highest grade material for this room, but I wanted to show people, look, even in their mid-tier material, it's just absolutely nuts how good the image looks. And of course, we have JVC. And JVC in this room, we have the NZ500 and 700, and both of those are very capable of projecting onto this 125-inch screen that we have here. The differences really between the 500 and 700 is the 500 has the Gen 2 DILA chips versus the new Gen 3 chips on the NZ700, as well as there's more light output on the 700. Now that is noticeable when you're doing an A/B test. So another thing I'll mention is with the Control 4 system and some custom programming from AutoNest, we have a button where we can simply press a button on the remote and switch between the two projectors. It could be doing a disservice in a way because it can really show people straight away, oh wow, this one is more capable than this one. And of course, we're honest with how we do this. It's not like we're cheesing it and trying to slant one way or the other. Everything is being calibrated so that if you're out of the room and I turn on, say, the 500, you're going to see a picture that you're going to think is insanely good. The 500 does have great contrast and the picture quality is incredible. However, if I switch it straight away to the 700, you'll notice the image will go brighter. And it kind of does the 500 a disservice because if you weren't to see that and you just saw the 500 and it never showed the 700, you would be absolutely blown away by the 500. Both will work really well in a room of this size, and that's why I've got them. So I love JVC, and that's why I really pursue JVC as a partner for what I'm doing here at Build Montage in the showroom. So the last thing that I'll talk about is acoustic treatment, and I have Artnovion wall panels here, and this is a product that I'm very excited about. These are the Helen absorbers. You get 8 to a box, and they're about $12.99 a box. And in there, we've basically gapped them off the wall using their tube art system. I had a bit of fun doing that. I just cranked some podcasts, and I spent about 3/4 of a day with a laser measure installing all of the panels. But I think they look great in this space, and I'm just really happy with the performance. The last acoustic element is the Star Ceiling. I did really want to go edge to edge in this room, and I actually ordered and paid my good friend Marty for a full Star Ceiling. However, what I discounted was the fact that I was going to have all these lights and holes in the ceiling for the speakers and whatnot. And I just thought what I might do is switch it over to just get one column right through the middle, because the panels at their max size are 1400 by 1200. It still allows you to get the effect of having a Star Ceiling and to show customers and clients what it will look like. It rounds out the room really well. And of course, lighting is super important. At the moment, I'm running with Govee lights, and they do integrate via third-party implementations into Control 4. We were able to do that fairly straightforward with Panit, and I do have a Govee lamp as well, which is also integrated, and we did some cool stuff. So when you press the touchpad on the outside, if the room is off, it starts turning on both projectors, turns the lighting to bright, and then as you come into the room, over the course of a minute, the light starts to slowly dim down to about 10%. So it gives you that nice vibe when you come in that you're in a changing room. So it gives that element of feeling like a cinema instead of being super bright in your face. And then of course, when you're watching a movie and you hit play, it turns the lights off. And then when you hit pause, it just brings them up a little bit so that you can see where you're going in the room. While you look around the room, why don't you let me know what you think down in the comments section? Have I executed this room in a way that makes it attractive enough for people to want to get one? For me personally, yes, this is a business, but it's a massive passion of mine. I've been doing this for about 6.5 years on YouTube, all for free pretty much, trying to help people get into home cinema. I do believe a home cinema is for anyone that wants one, no matter your budget. However, this room, it does have a lot of gear in here, which is at the upper end of the low end, if that's a way of saying it. You can scale down from here. There are other Krix options as well. You don't need to go with the MX10. You could go with Megaphonics or OWX speakers, which are on wall. You can go with in-wall speakers as well, depending on your budget. However, I've tried to show what's possible in this size room for the average Australian suburban household. I've got more videos coming. I know it's been about a month since my last video, and it's generally because I am just super busy trying to run the business and go through all the inquiries and also build out the rooms. So I do have some cool room tours coming of some of the rooms that I've built and am currently building. They'll be coming on the channel very soon. I'd like to thank everyone for their support on getting me to 100,000 subscribers. It did take a very long time. It took pretty much 6 years to get to 100,000, which is a long time for a channel to go to that subscriber count. I know it's just a number, but I never, when I started, imagined that I would have that many followers on YouTube. But it's been an amazing ride. But I absolutely love building rooms, and the wife and her support pushing me to do this was to stop me ripping my own room apart. Now I can do it to other people's rooms, and their wives can get mad at me. So anyway, guys, a very big thank you for watching. But that's it for this one. You'll catch me in the next one. Bye for now.